What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and today I'm going to be going over the location of every great fairy in Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch. Now, you may be wondering why I'm making a video dedicated to only the locations of great fairies in this game, because it seems like a weird thing to make a video dedicated to. However, if you're playing in Master Mode, which if you're not, you don't know about this, but if you are, Master Mode, when you defeat enemies, they don't drop hearts. When you defeat mini-bosses, they do not drop fairies. And trees no longer have apples growing on them, because apparently Hero Mode affects the vegetation. So the only ways to recover hearts in Master Mode is going to be to get a piece of heart, get a full heart container, use a fairy from a bottle, or visit a great fairy. Two of those require a fairy fountain, so that's why we're going over them now. Now, one thing that I definitely do want to note as far as the fairies in the game is, unlike other Zelda titles, fairies do not revive you. If you completely die, these fairies will not recover you any hearts. So your best method to use your fairies is when you're low on hearts, to use your fairy bottle, and then you can actually, recover hearts. When it comes to dying completely, you need to get this item called Secret Medicine. This is Tracy's Secret Medicine, guaranteed to kickstart your heart. It's going to be found in 3 dungeons naturally: Turtle Rock, Eagle's Tower, and the Face Shrine. However, you can come inside of here, this house, right on the prairie, to Crazy Tracy's health spa, and when inside of here, she's gonna sell you her cream. And the reason she's crazy is because the price is always random. Sometimes it is, I think, 24 rupees, and sometimes it's 48. And it being random, that's what makes her crazy. Also, she hangs out with mice or rats. I don't know, maybe they're an ingredient in making the potion. Let's find the fairies. The first Great Fairy Fountain, and the only one actually out in the open, is obtained very early in the game. However, it does not spawn random fairies. What I mean by that is, if you visit this Great Fairy, she will recover your hearts. However, there will not be any stray fairies right here for you to bottle. By the way, these are the bottles with fairies in them. I should probably also make a video on where the bottle locations are. Great. Now, if you're ever low on health, or even just down a quarter of a heart, like I am right here, down 1/4, you can come over here, speak to the Great Fairy, and she'll heal you up. However, after 1 recovery, she bounces. She's out. So this is not a renewable source. You would have to rezone out of the place completely and then rezone in. Come over here, boom, she's back. So revisiting a Great Fairy is very, very simple. Now, this Great Fairy you can get as soon as you spawn into the game. However, for all of the Great Fairies afterward, you have to have access to bombs, and bombs are obtained after completing the second dungeon. While on the Ukuyu Prairie, there are actually 3 bombable walls right to the north of here. One over there that contains some items. I believe there was a heart piece in there. There's one over here that also contains some items. But we're going to be making our way to the right through all of these big spiky boys to this random hole in the wall right here. Now, if you did the trade sequence, this is where the honeycomb is located, and where you do that trade sequence and you get yourself, the stick for the honeycomb. You enter this wall right here after bombing the cracked wall, and you can find yourself a Great Fairy. Now, this one and the next 2 are always going to have stray fairies here. Even if your health is full, even if you have 3 bottled fairies, there's always going to be a fairy in here. And you could just, boop. There you go. Swipe up that fairy, nice. This Great Fairy is all like, oh, you just imprisoned one of my fairies forever. I'm not mad. You want me to heal you up? No problem. The second Great Fairy is located right here at this wall. While there's no direct path to go to this fairy, the easiest warp point is going to be from the Seashell Cavern. After obtaining the flippers, you can just hop down here. There is the Face Shrine. And here is a cracked wall. And then once you get bombs, you can bomb this wall, head inside, and boom, Great Fairy number 2. This Great Fairy location is pretty fantastic, especially if you have trouble with the armored Armos fight down here, right? He's the armored Armos, I'm pretty sure that's his name, inside of the South Face Shrine. And speaking of difficult enemies and dungeons, if you make your way to the eastern Tall Mountains, this warp point is only accessible after getting access to the 7th dungeon in the game. This is the way you came from, this is the way to the temple, And this hole right here, which of course is bombable, if you enter it, you can get yourself the third and final Great Fairy of the game. Well, great. Now say, for example, you just had a super difficult fight inside of a dungeon, and during that you had to use up 2 of your fairies, or you know what, all 3 of your fairies, and at that point, you are a boy with 3 bottles with no fairies. Real simple. You just head inside, swipe up a fairy, leave the room, so you zone out and you zone back in, and there will always be another fairy for you to go ahead and yeet into your bottle. You can do it 3 times in a row to fill up all 3 of your bottles, and even a 4th time if you wanted to recover, or just spam this as much as possible and commit genocide to the entire fairy race. Well guys, I hope this little video was helpful on how to get all the great fairy locations in Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch. If you haven't done so, be sure to leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.